I met Emily 3 years back at a friend's birthday party in downtown Austin. She had this laugh. Light, musical, like it could lift the weight off your chest. And when she smiled, it was like you were the only person in the room. We hit it off fast, talking about everything from our favorite books to bucket list travel plans. I'm 34, a project manager in construction, and Emily's 29, a marketing specialist. We moved in together after a year, into a cozy 2-bedroom apartment we painted ourselves. Blue in the kitchen, green in the bedroom. We'd cook together, binge old sitcoms on the couch, take weekend trips to the coast. It felt like we were building something real, something solid. I loved her. God, I loved her. She made me feel like I could be more than just another guy paying bills, like I mattered in the world we were creating together. We'd talk about getting a dog, maybe a house in the suburbs, kids someday. She even joked once that I'd be the fun dad who taught them how to fix bikes. It wasn't all perfect, of course. There were little moments, times she'd mention her ex, Josh, like how he used to take her camping, or how they went to that one concert in New York. I'd ask, "You still talk to him?" And she'd just laugh it off, say, "No, that was ages ago. Relax." I didn't push. I trusted her. There was that one night, though, late last year, when I caught her staring at her phone with this soft smile, almost like she was somewhere else entirely. When I asked what she was thinking, she just shrugged, said she was remembering an old memory. I told myself it was nothing, just nostalgia, that we all have our pasts. And then there was the time she suggested we visit that cabin Josh used to own, for old time's sake. I remember brushing it off, thinking, well, it's just a cabin, right? I didn't want to seem jealous, looking back. Maybe I should have asked more questions. Maybe I should have trusted my gut. But love makes you blind in the most dangerous ways. At the time, I thought we were in it for the long haul. We were building a life together. Wasn't that enough? It was a Thursday night. I'd just gotten home from a brutal 12-hour shift, still covered in sawdust and sweat, and I was trying to pull together something simple for dinner. Just chicken and rice, nothing fancy. Emily was in the living room, legs curled up on the couch, laughing into her phone. I could hear the brightness in her voice, that soft, playful tone she used when she was in a good mood. I was chopping vegetables when I heard her say it, like it was no big deal. Yeah, so Josh is going to crash with us for a bit, just until he figures things out. My hand froze mid-cut. The knife just hovered there, like my brain couldn't process what I'd heard. Josh, her ex, moving in. I turned, slow, my stomach flipping like I was free falling off a cliff. Emily caught my stare and waved me off with a little smile, like I was overreacting. "It's just for a little while," she said, still half laughing. "He's in a tough spot." I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. My mind was racing. Why here? Why us? Why now? But the words jammed up in my throat. I swallowed, tried to steady my voice, and all I managed was, "Okay, okay." That's what I said. My hands shook as I stirred the rice, feeling the heat of the stove but cold inside. Like I was watching a movie where I wasn't the main character anymore. Like my life had suddenly become something I didn't recognize, and I was just a spectator. That night, after dinner, I sat alone on the edge of our bed, staring at the ceiling fan spinning slow and steady, as if the world hadn't just cracked open. Emily had gone to bed early, like nothing had happened, like Josh moving in was just another Wednesday plan. But I couldn't sleep. My mind kept spinning, faster than that fan, faster than I could keep up. Every little thing clicked into place. The random mentions of Josh, the text she'd brushed off, that half smile when she thought I wasn't looking. It wasn't just a favor for an old friend. This was a choice that didn't include me. By 2 a.m., my hands were shaking, adrenaline buzzing like electricity in my veins. I walked into the living room, stared at our pictures on the walls, beach trips, birthdays, a Christmas tree 2 years back. It all felt fake. I grabbed the boxes from the closet and started packing her things. Her clothes, her makeup, the books she loved more than she loved me. My hands moved fast, almost too fast, like if I stopped, I'd lose my nerve. My heart pounded so loud it drowned out everything else. At 3 a.m., I called a locksmith. 24-hour emergency. The guy showed up half an hour later, sleepy-eyed but professional. As he changed the locks, I watched through the peephole, arms crossed tight, every muscle in my body tense. This was it, no going back. And yeah, my hands were shaking, but I knew one thing for sure. I wasn't going to let someone else move into my home, our home. While I stood by like a fool, I was done being the fool. It all blew up the next evening. I was sitting on the couch, dead tired, but wired, when the banging started, hard, frantic, like the door itself might crack. I could hear her voice, shrill and sharp, cutting through the walls. James, open the damn door. What the hell is wrong with you? I sat there, gripping my knees, trying to steady my breath. My heart was racing so hard it hurt. Through the door, I heard her switch from shouting to sobbing in a flash, then back to shouting again. You're insane. You can't just lock me out of my own home. This is abuse. You're controlling, manipulative. Then his voice, Josh, calm, low, like he was trying to play mediator. Man, come on, just open up. Let's talk about this. Talk? My blood boiled, but I kept my voice even though my hands were shaking. Emily, this is my home. You made your choice. You can collect your things tomorrow with a police escort, if necessary. That's it, she screamed then, a raw, animal sound. You're a pathetic little man. I told my family what you did, how you're trying to control me. They're all on my side, just so you know. You'll lose everything. Everything. I clenched my fists, feeling the weight of every accusation she threw. Abuser, controlling, toxic. The word stung because for a second, I almost believed her. Maybe I was being cruel, overreacting, letting my fear turn into spite. But then I pictured it. Josh, moving into my apartment, eating at my table, sitting on my couch like it was all his. And no, I wasn't crazy, I wasn't abusive, I was protecting myself, even if every word she shouted felt like a knife. I stayed sitting, silent except for a quiet, good night, Emily. Her fists hit the door a few more times, then stopped. The silence afterward was louder than the screams. The next day, my phone started blowing up. Messages from friends, calls from her family, even a couple of coworkers. Emily had wasted no time spinning her story. I sat there scrolling, feeling my pulse hammer in my neck. James, what the hell? You kicked her out? Changed the locks. One buddy texted. Another, Mark, called me. Dude, I heard what happened. Good for you. She was always shady. It was a mix, half support, half judgment. Her cousin Sarah DM'd me on Instagram, saying, you should be ashamed. You left a woman on the street. This is abuse. I didn't reply, but the doubts crept in. Was I overreacting? Was I some bitter, vengeful guy now? Maybe I should have handled it differently, given her time, let her explain. But then I'd see her posts, pictures of her crying, captions about being locked out by a controlling man, hashtags like #survivor and #emotional abuse. It twisted my gut. She was painting me as some monster, and people were eating it up. My best friend Alex tried to help. Man, you're not crazy. You did what you had to do. Don't let her gaslight you. But late at night, staring at the ceiling, I couldn't help but wonder. Had I gone too far? Or was I finally standing up for myself, for the first time in my life? It was a Tuesday evening when it all came crashing down for real. I was at a local bar, nursing a beer, when Alex slid into the booth across from me, looking uncomfortable. Man, I wasn't sure if I should say this, he started, glancing around like we were being watched. But you deserve to know. My stomach dropped. Turns out, Alex's girlfriend, who worked with Emily at the same marketing firm, had overheard something weeks ago. Emily had been talking about a fresh start and how Josh is finally ready to move in. They'd been planning it the whole time, not a last-minute favor for a friend, a plan. She said they'd make it look like an emergency so you couldn't say no. Alex told me, his voice low, that you'd be too much of a nice guy to kick her out. And by the time you realized what was happening, it'd be too late. My stomach churned, relief and rage in equal parts. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a messy breakup. It was a setup. They were going to build a life in my apartment, with my furniture. While I paid the bills, I sat there gripping the edge of the table, feeling the weight of it all settle in my chest. This wasn't just betrayal. This was calculated. And I was done doubting myself. Days passed, and the noise started to fade. Emily stopped calling, stopped texting. The last message was a vague threat about legal action that never came. Josh never showed up again. Some of her friends tried to guilt-trip me, but I let the calls ring out. I was tired, not angry, just drained. I spent a weekend clearing the place, moved her leftover boxes to the curb, scrubbed the walls, even rearranged the furniture. It was strange how different the apartment felt without her stuff. Empty, sure, but also lighter. I started eating on the couch again, like I used to before we met. I finally hung the shelves I'd been meaning to put up. The hurt was still there, no doubt, but the chaos was gone, and that was something. Looking back, I won't pretend I walked away unscathed. The trust one gave too freely, that's gone. The ease of believing someone's words without watching their actions, that's gone too. But there's something else in its place now. A quiet, solid boundary I should have set long ago. I won't apologize for protecting my home, my sanity, or my life. They tried to make me the bad guy for refusing to be a background character in their story, but I'm not the villain here. I'm tired, yeah, and yeah, it still stings, but I'm proud. I won't let anyone turn my life into a prop for their games. Sometimes the best answer is silence. Sometimes the best choice is to leave.